It's like ever since I went like PC, Macs suck.
Yeah, that's what most people say. Like, who was it? My roommate was like, "You just get a PC next time you get one." Because I was like, I think my next purchase, I was just gonna get a desktop Mac for creative purposes, and just have only Premiere Pro, GarageBand on there. Flip your mic on. Is it off or on? Okay, good. Well, you haven't talked into it yet. That's why.
I haven't said anything.
And so, yeah, that's what I was going to do. Like, just get a PC. I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of used to the Macs now. That's the problem. Is like,
so you get used to the Macs, but I promise, like, it restricts you so much. You can do so much more with, like, an actual, like, just a normal, like, Windows. It's so much better.
I got to turn the music off here so I don't get copyrighted.
You know what you need? I said this to Joey when his episode came out. I told him this. I said, somebody needs to make Michael an intro. Like, you need an intro.
Oh, I know I need an intro.
You know, you ever listen to, like, Part of My Take or anything?
Yeah, 1 second. I'm trying to get your mic so it sounds louder. Yeah, here we go. It's a little better. No, every time I do one of these, I edit. I'm like, you know what? An intro would be great for this.
You need, like, I don't know, like.
I don't know who's gonna make it though.
Somebody make a song. Like, who do
a
you know
song.
that makes
I
music?
even like for a while, if a group of you that have been on the show, just like, hey, let's do this some janky intro thing, I'd put it on there. I'd just be like, hey, this is just the audio and do like I'd go to Fiverr and pay someone like, hey, can you make this like a cartoon? And I'd make it the intro for it, and I think it'd be fun.
That would probably actually be golden. Like,
It'd be great. That's all I'd ask for.
I think Andrew should definitely make a song.
It would be 2 seconds long and be like, what the fuck is this? Why am I here? Welcome to Fat Chance Podcast. Am I done yet?
See, but like, it's the stupid things like that.
Yeah.
That's like peak intro. Like, the stupider the better.
I agree. I don't want it to be like perfect. That's just dumb. So dumb. What were we talking about before I hit play? Because usually when I hit play, like, it just everything goes out.
Yeah, I totally forgot. Like, because you said we're gonna talk about this in a second, and then I'm like, all right.
Oh yeah. No, when I left the high school, you guys got what?
Oh, the whole inroads thing and like.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
The whole like shit show of my life. That's what we're on. Like, basically, they changed high school to, like, you're going down one of 3 paths. Either it was engineering, like nursing, biomedical they called it or whatever, and then like business. Those are like the 3 options, or at least they made it seem like those were the only like.
So you had 3 paths in high school then? It was like business, science, or art maybe? And then there was like a subset for like, here are the basement boys?
Well, the basement boys never left, but like everybody had to do this inroads thing. So you had to take engineering classes or like health, like biomedical classes or business classes. You picked basically, and then that's like where you're kind of like college actually. I mean, that's what
you pick a major and then your classes are catered to that major.
Exactly, that's what it was. But like they made you seem like you have no way out of it. It was you had to do it. And I did engineering for 4 years. And I took like college level engineering classes, like decent engineering classes, and I just grew to hate it. My whole family's engineers on my dad's side, and I thought I was gonna like it.
I thought engineering was great for me because I went into college as. I apparently didn't know, but I applied as an architectural engineer. No, landscape architecture in college.
Yeah.
That was what I applied to get into it. Directly admitted into the landscape architecture school. Had no idea I was applying for that. Directly admitted. Then, this is how unprepared I was for college. Did not tour UW-Madison. I got accepted. I was like, I'm going there. Didn't tour it. Applied for landscape architecture. Got a random roommate. Like, when they're like, hey, do you want to pick your roommate or do you want it to be random?
Oh, you're that guy.
I waited so long that the countdown clock was like, hey, you have a month to pick this. And then I was like, no, you got a week to pick this. You got 2 days to pick this. There was a running clock when I finally was like, what should I do? And I just hit random.
So you're like the biggest procrastinator.
Oh,
ever.
with that stuff, yeah. And in college in general, I was such a procrastinator.
I'm the same way.
And accepted into landscape architecture. Went to SOAR, like the orientation.
Yeah.
Decided I was like, I'm undecided. So I'm directly admitted into a school. A fraternity has already asked me to join their ag program or whatever. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Then decide undecided, and then I was going to do mechanical engineering. So I'm like, I was pursuing a major while directly admitted into a school with a person I've never met before. and playing club lacrosse. I was like, I had no clue what I was doing for the first semester there. I didn't even know how to check my grades. It took me till I was a junior to, do you guys have a DARS report? Is that what yours is called?
It's called, we use Canvas. It's like a...
We had Canvas too, but like our DARS report was like the official document, and it was like, these are all the classes you've taken, these are the grades you've gotten, these are how many credits you have. And it's like, you look at that to determine when you can graduate and stuff like that, and what your transcript is. I didn't know how to access that until I was a junior in college.
I'm pretty sure we have that, but like I'm the same way in college. Like I just don't care to look. I'm just there. I'm just here to be there.
Yeah,
I have no clue. I'm sure there's like an official like, here are your grades and here's like how many credits you have and what you need to graduate. But no, I have yet to figure that out as a senior.
Yeah, I had no clue, and I remember going in for my last semester senior year to my guidance counselor. Like, hey, can you? These guys are annoying as shit, by the way.
I heard that.
And I was like, hey, how many credits do I have left? Like, I'd like to. How many do I need to take to graduate at the end of this year? Jesus. And she goes, you have like 30 more credits you need. I'm like, 30? I thought I needed like 18. She goes, no. And she goes, this is what happens when you switch majors twice and take the bare minimum.
I did the same thing.
I was like, yeah, that's fair. So I only had to do one extra semester, which wasn't bad.
Transfer twice, switch majors once, went around the country once.
Wait, hold on. I want the whole...
Well, that was like the whole high school thing. Like, yeah, I thought I wanted to be an engineer.
Yeah.
And then like I didn't like decide till... When does everybody decide what they want to, like, hey, I have this idea. Like, well, like
some people still haven't.
Junior year, where you'd make that fake first choice. Like,
yeah.
Hey, I'm going to do this, or this is going to be my first try.
Sometimes I envy the people that are like, I'm going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a nurse. It's like.
But like the kids that were like, hey, senior year's about to start. I've applied to all these colleges as a junior or whatever. This is what I'm going to do at college. This is my first like shot at life.
Those are the well-prepared people.
Yeah.
The people that are like, I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants are like us. Are like, yeah. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to let it come to me.
My whole anxiety thing, I saw everybody doing this. I saw like people like Jake who's like, hey, I'm going to be an engineer. And he is like fucking crazy smart. I'm like, I'm like, I got to fit in. I got to like, hey, I got to figure out something I want to do. I remember one day I was at home. I was sitting. I was thinking. Like, what like could I possibly do with my life that's not engineering? Like, I need something interesting. And I remembered, hey, my dad's a pilot on the side. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, I've flown.
On the side?
Yeah, on the side. Like, he was a police officer by trade.
Yeah.
But he just took flight lessons over the years and just,
gradually got it, yeah. You can still do it, I guess.
So I'm like, well, hey, I've been flying before. Fuck, why don't I, like, give it a shot? Like, let me see. Can I go to college for this? I had no clue. Turns out you can. And long story short, I wanted to go to Florida. Somebody didn't want me to go to Florida and wanted me to stay closer to home. And I ended up going to Dubuque because they wanted me to play lacrosse there. So that's why I went there. It was basically like answered the phone in the car. Like I knew where the school was and I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
But I knew they wanted me to play lacrosse for them. And my whole like get out of jail free card here was I would love the opportunity to play lacrosse with you guys, but my main focus is what I want to do with my life, and that's being a pilot. And I thought that was like, I would never hear from him again.
Yeah.
Not 2 seconds later, I hear, oh, really? That's great. That's exactly what we do here. Like, that's our number one. That was like the university's like number one selling point. That was their biggest major. And I thought, are you like, there's no way this random D3 school in Iowa.
So you went to Dubuque?
Yeah, so I went to Dubuque to play lacrosse and fly.
How long were you there?
I was there for the full freshman year. Yeah.
And then you were just like, fuck, it's this shit? Like, it's Dubuque, Iowa?
Well, it was Dubuque, Iowa. The team, like, was no fun. It was, like, on top of, like, the fact that we sucked, it was, like, the coach was just not a nice guy to deal with.
That's what I would tell people going into college. If you're not playing D1,
it's not worth it.
You better love playing the sport and the grind of it, like becoming
your life,
but not really not really having a light at the end of the tunnel, because it's a whole different ball game from high school to college. Even like when I played club in college, it's like I didn't like my coach, and the practices were laid back and like stuff like that. But in high school, part of the reason everyone likes high school sports is your entire school is there to watch you.
Exactly.
Like, you have football games, at least at our high school, was, I mean, everyone was there.
Yeah.
Like, everyone came out. Even, like, as lacrosse, like, we made lacrosse pretty big. Even when we started, we
I mean,
were
before you
drawing
guys,
crowds.
it was not a thing. I mean, after you guys,
Yeah.
it was, you know, you started it.
And people were, like, starting to come out, and, like, they were coming to see us. They're wearing our super fan shirts. Then you go to a D3 school or D1 and play club like I did, and maybe your parents are there to see you once. They're like, we're going to come see you play your first college game. And they're like, we're not coming to Iowa every fucking weekend to watch you play.
There's absolutely
Like,
nobody
not
gives a
even your
shit.
parents are like, there's no one there. It's just 11 to 20 college kids in a cornfield playing lacrosse.
Exactly. It was like ridiculous.
For no one.
And you have this one dude who's just like ruining the sport that you loved.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
just
you're
for no
probably going
reason.
to have a coach that probably cares, but you don't care enough because you know it's D3, so you don't like him because he's treating it like it's D1. You're like, we're going nowhere.
Exactly.
And so it's like half his fault, half not, kind of bullshit like that. And you're like, this ruined the sport for me.
It did. So, but then I stuck to, like, flying was always going to be, like, my main focus. I didn't really, like, as much as I love lacrosse, I just was more worried about life, you know? Same thing like you said, like, it's D3. What am I going to do with this? They're not paying me. I don't care.
Oh, we're going to speak about getting paid for lacrosse, too, here in a second. All right.
But, yeah, I was with somebody in my freshman year of college, too, and that wasn't, you know, very beneficial.
Do I know that person?
You do know that person.
Okay.
You do know.
We'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, that's off camera.
Yeah.
I didn't really do much because of that.
Yeah.
I didn't really drink, go anywhere, do anything. If I was not flying, I was in my room, like, playing video games. That was it. That was my whole life.
Video games, lacrosse, and flying.
In a little dinky town in Iowa, and I was, like, just bored out of my mind.
I believe it, yeah.
Hated my life. But my, like, escape card was, when I was in high school, I went to, like, showcases around the country for lacrosse. University of Jacksonville, Florida Institute of Technology. And the Florida Institute of Technology, they're D2, but I had a good showcase there. I basically, like, said, nope, not playing there. I want to go stay close to home. But I always wanted to go there. Campus was cool. City was cool. Right on the beach. And they had a really good flight program, too. But my get out of jail free card in Iowa was like, hey, I want to move off campus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we'll pay rent sophomore year, and we'll get a house. And we were looking at houses, and the school administration said, no, you can't move off campus until you have enough credits to be counted as a junior. And I thought, there's no goddamn
Really?
way. Like,
you could have, like, if we wanted to, we didn't have to live in the dorms freshman year.
it was,
As long as you made it to class.
I mean, it was a private school, so, I mean, I guess. But whatever. That's ridiculous. Junior year. I'm not waiting 3 years and living in the same
a dorm.
I know. That's ridiculous. Because I hated living, like I told you earlier.
Yeah.
I hated sharing a room with somebody. I like the dude, but, like,
You want your own space.
I need my own space. That's it. Simple as that.
Be like, hey, maybe if the dorm was double the size and we each had our own, like, room in the dorms, completely different story. But
Exactly.
Your dorm is the size. It would have been smaller than my living room kitchen.
Mm-hmm. That's what it was. And it was ridiculous. So, in order to, like, pressure the university, I said, hey, I tried everything. I said, hey, I have an uncle that lives in the city. I have this. And I gave, like, we found, like, one of my buddies who actually did have a relative that lived there, and we put it down. Denied. We tried everything. Finally, I'm like, all right, guys. Like, everybody gave up but me. Like, I was still determined to, like, get off campus. Like, I'm going to try this last thing. I'm going to, throw my trap card at him.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, if you don't let me, like, move off campus, like, I'm leaving. Like, I'm going to transfer. I'll take my money elsewhere. And I did, like, I went through with, like, the whole, like, hey, I'm going to, like, fake transfer to Florida Tech. That's what I said. Hey, I'm going to go there. And sure enough, they called my bluff. They said, okay, if you want to leave, leave. And I said, I guess I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So I transferred. I said, I'm going to Florida. But that was where I wanted to go originally. So it was
So then you went to Florida.
So it was like an excuse for the person I was with to, like, I want to get out of here. But I also really didn't want to. It was like just happened to be a good idea at the time. In my head, it happened to be good. So then I went to Florida the next year. Yeah. We kept flying down there. It was fun. And I thought I loved Florida. Man, I hate Florida. Man, I fucking hate Florida. Like, it fucking sucks. Even being like, I mean, I love warm weather. I'm Hispanic. I told you that. But,
Yeah.
like, man, it fucking sucks. Like, it's all tourists, crackheads, and old people. That's all Florida is. It's all it is.
Where in Florida was this? Because I lived in Miami Lakes for 7 months, 6-7 months, and it's nice. I would be like, I understand snowbirds. After living in Florida for longer than 2 weeks, I understand snowbirds.
So the old people weren't the worst part. The only bad thing with the old people was traffic.
Oh, it's terrible.
There was literally. So I was in a city called Melbourne.
Okay.
It's south of Cocoa Beach. It's not even a little city. It's a decently sized city. It's probably like the size of I don't know, like Racine. Probably like north of 70,000 people.
Okay,
but,
that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's double where we're from.
but it's just south of Cocoa Beach, right on the Atlantic. And man, like it just blew. I mean, it was bigger than Iowa, but there was still. I mean, being from Milwaukee, I mean.
Yeah, if you ever think traffic here is bad, go. I mean, go to like Florida's bad. Go to LA. Obviously, that's bad. Like the 405, but like.
I'm gonna finish this.
Finish it. Go grab another one out of the fridge. Have you grab a glass?
Well, I'll demolish these Pacificos first.
You don't have to. I mean, they can go in the fridge. If you want one of those, go for one of those.
All right, we'll see how I'm feeling.
We'll probably drink after this too, so do not worry about it. They'll be gone. Last episode we did a case of the Topo Chicos.
Oh my God, those are that's actually so good.
It is prickly pear, dude. So we still have some of the seltzers left from last time, and I think the tangy lemon lime. I think there's one left. I might just open it to make you smell it. Fruity Pebbles.
Really?
Fruity Pebbles through and through. Where was I? Florida though.
Yeah, go.
Florida, disgusting. When it's hot out, it's summer months.
Yeah.
You're like you walk outside and you like physically walk slower. It's that hot. And we lived in like like what I would call for like people like know us like the tuck away of like age wise of like, retirement center.
Yeah.
For like so it's like older people like condominium. I slept on my buddy's couch.
Jesus.
It was just brutal.
Sleeping on a couch in Florida is not sound good.
It's not. It wasn't great, but it was good mentally for me because I was like it was when I was like for college.
Yeah.
I was graduating college. I'm like my time up here. My time is up here.
Yeah.
So like I need to go. Kind of like how you're like I don't want to be here anymore. Exactly. I need to just go somewhere and figure it out elsewhere because I'm not going to figure it out here.
It was not going to happen in the Midwest. I'll tell you that.
No, I don't like that I'm here now. Like I've always wanted to travel. I don't want to be I'm not in Franklin, which is fine. Nothing wrong with Franklin. And like I've like always ripped on like, why is everyone like staying in high school or shit like that? And like a little hypocritical now for me, but not complaining at all. But it's more like, it's not because I hate it. It's just because I have like this desire to see everything. And I think if you leave, you appreciate it more. There's nothing wrong with coming back and appreciating it. But you need to go see something else. Like you have this entire, like I used to say, like, hey, when I was like 22 and I wanted to move, I was like, I've spent 22 years of my life in Wisconsin. Yeah, I need to go see something else. That's why I like moved to Florida. Like when I can travel, I will travel all the time. If this is my home base at the end of the day, fine. Yeah. But like that's why I like aspire to like travel the country and like do stand up and stuff like that.
No,
like,
I totally get that. Like that's, I mean, I'm super like I don't even know like what word it would be to describe it. Like when we went to Vegas this summer with your brother. I mean that's a whole story in itself. But
Andrew came back and his net worth was the yellow towel he stole from the hotel.
Oh my god. Well, we can get to that. We can get to that.
I also want to talk about
inside
like
story for that trip. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
But
Andrew
like,
be all right with that?
Wait, we'll see tonight. I mean, I'll tell him.
He'll be fine. He doesn't care.
Yeah, I know he doesn't. But so we go to Vegas. First time we go to Vegas. Yeah. Love it. Great trip. But now every time like I see Vegas, like I'm like I get like the jitters. I'm like man, like I gotta like I feel like I'm there. I should be there. Like that happens everywhere I go. Yeah. Like I see something like, hey, I was there. Like I want to be back. I need to be back there. Yeah. Like I don't care where it was, but if I it's a weird feeling. But
no, it's someone who wants to experience things. Some people are like they find I don't know. They're comfortable in what's normal or like familiar to them. Yeah. They find comfort in familiarity. So that's like, I'm home. I'm fine. I'm me. I find comfort in like the new. It's like, what else is new? Like, I'm going to try something new. This is way more fun, way more entertaining. Yeah. Whereas if I just sat here all day, did nothing, did a 9 to 5 every day, that wasn't like, I still have an hour like basis I need to be somewhere, but like I can do whatever I want there, kind of thing. I would go insane.
Absolutely crazy. I feel the same way.
I would break the like safety locks off these windows that only let me open them 3 inches, and I would jump head first out of here.
Straight out. Like,
I
know, I get it. Like,
I couldn't do it.
I guess, I mean, the whole Florida thing, I had a decent time. It wasn't bad. It was better than here, and there was some outside factors that came into, like, I started, like, losing my mind. Like, I got really homesick. And I'm super close to my family, and I mean that was part of it, but not really. I just got like I'm like, you know, like I don't see my friends, and I would see on Snapchat like we're partying Madison, Mifflin, or lacrosse, you know, Oktoberfest. I'm like what am I doing here? Like there's no parties like that here. Like nobody like. I was like, damn, this sucks. So I was like, I gotta go. I'm homesick. So I left at the semester. I dropped out of college. I said screw it. Like I wasn't enjoying the flying thing either. It got really boring. It was basically like, hey, here's what you need to accomplish, like this amount of time, this many landings or whatever, these maneuvers. Like there's a bunch of different maneuvers you can do or whatever. There's a bunch of different criteria. Didn't matter where you went or whatever. It was up to you or when you did it also. But as long as you just met the criteria.
Were you actually flying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have my pilot's license still. But yeah, I would get these lesson plans. It would be like, example, like solo cross country, minimum 450 nautical miles.
Solo cross country you did?
I got 100, 200 hours worth of flight time, and a lot of that's like, a lot of the time building I did was, I got my pilot's license at 4.
So could you technically fly just me and you somewhere right now?
Yes and no is the correct answer.
Okay.
Yes, I could, but I need to be current again. In order to carry passengers...
So you got to, like, re-up kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of a re-up, but it's not that, like, serious. In order to carry passengers, you need 3 takeoffs or landings, full stop, in the preceding 90 days, if I remember correctly.
So you would need to go do 3 flights by yourself.
So, like, we go to the airport. Yeah, we go to the airport. You wait on the ground. I'd be like, be right back. Take me, like...
You go up and down 3 times?
Up and down 3 times, and I'm like, all right, get in. And then we go. Like, simple as that.
Fuck.
Yeah, I could just... Yeah.
What it, like... If you wanted to just, like, fly to Minnesota tonight, is there, like... I don't know how that worked. Could you just, like, go find a plane?
Yeah. I mean...
You could?
There's a lot of... all airports rent. They're called FBOs.
Okay.
I'll get a little nerdy. They're called FBOs, or fixed base operators.
Okay.
That's, like, where the private planes go. That's not where, like... It's not your commercial gates. It's, like Signature. If you've ever been at Mitchell, if you go on Layton, it's called Signature. That's a really big FBO around the country. There are a lot of places. But as you go park your airplane, you get fuel. They have like crew cars for you to borrow, whatever. But yeah, so you would go to one of them. Usually you'd be like checked off. They're like, you sign up, hey, I want to rent planes, and then they'll take you up. Like they'll give you like a test. Mm-hmm. This is more of like hey, I'm getting watched in every aspect of my life. Yeah. They'll take you up. You get it. It's like not for anything. Just like, hey, can I rent your planes? That's all it is. And then if you pass, you pass. If you don't, you don't. If you pass, then yeah, usually you go online or something. Here's our planes. Here's the times they're available. If it's available, mine. And then whatever the rental rate is for the plane.
So what does a rental rate usually run you?
Depends on the plane. Like when I was in Florida, I was flying Piper Archers, which are small planes. Like, they're still small, like a Cessna. In Iowa, I was flying Cessnas. In Florida, I was flying Pipers. But the Pipers wings are on the bottom instead of on top. But they have like super fancy instruments. Like it's not like your typical like this you see on like the movies, like the round, the dials. No, it's like a computer screen. That's what I was like using. So that's more expensive than the round dial ones. Or like how big the engine is. It's a bunch of different factors. How nice the airplane is the rental rate. And then on top of that, some places will charge you wet or dry. So if it's like in Florida, I think I was paying $220 wet, So it's $220 an hour, and they cover the fuel. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or dry, it would probably be like whatever, $180 dry. You cover the fuel. That's essentially what that means. But usually most FBOs do wet rates.
And how many people could you put on that plane?
In Florida, 4 comfortably.
So it would actually end up being cheaper if I was like, hey, if we get a plane and we wanted to go to Minnesota instead of us trying to find a flight.
Right now, yeah. I don't even know how much like avgas is right now, but can't be that much more than normal gas. But like, yeah.
That's interesting.
So I could fly a plane that's probably like $150 an hour.
Go to North Carolina?
Let's go. Let's do it. I can get us down there. That'd be fun. I've done long trips like that before. I've gone to South Carolina.
I oddly trust you to just hop in a plane. My mom would shit a brick if I was.
My mom would never get in a plane.
Who's taking you? Where are you flying? Alek? Never heard of that airline. Don't look it up.
My dad's been a pilot since like before I was born. Actually, I don't. Maybe right after. But almost 22 years now, 23 years he's been a pilot. My mom has never refuses to. It's
scary. It's scary.
Because they're tiny planes. But
yeah,
I love it. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I never got to that part. I forgot about that. I love the flying part. It was the lesson part that I was at. I was doing my commercial because I already have my private pilot's license at this point. I was working on my commercial pilot's license now, which is a lot of, like I said, by yourself, super far. So I would go from like where I was, middle of the state in Melbourne, Cocoa Beach. I'd go to Tampa. I'd go to Miami. I'd go to Tallahassee. I'd go up to like Savannah, Georgia.
On commercial flights, were you just like a passenger pilot?
No. I was flying.
So you were flying like a Southwest plane?
No. Like a little plane.
Oh, little plane.
Little plane. But it was just me.
Yeah.
I would just like I said, I would just go sign up for like a time and hey, you're like, I'm gone.
Yeah.
But
and you autopilot, you just put that on for most of it?
That was what killed me, I think. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like I got so like the school rules were no engaging the autopilot unless you're above 1,000 feet AGL, which AGL is like literally 1,000 feet above the ground.
Yeah.
And then MSL is sea level.
Okay.
Like two different things, but it was like whatever, certain height you couldn't activate autopilot. And I got so bad, like I do my pre-flight stuff.
Yeah.
I taxi up, like you do your pre-flight by yourself, make sure all the control servers are working, get in, start it. You don't have to talk to anybody because you're not on the airport technically yet. You go do like you do a run up, it's called. You set the parking brake and like put the engine all the way up just to see if it's gonna like shit out on you.
Yeah.
Just like to be safe. You do that and then you call, hey, ready to taxi. And then they give you taxi instructions to whatever runway is operating. Get to the runway, get takeoff clearance, get on. I go full power, rotate at this at takeoff speed, and immediately like I would just autopilot. I was so like just bored because I knew I was gonna go one direction on autopilot for 3 hours. It just sucked. It was the worst thing I've.
Yeah, why not? I mean, we use cruise control
Well,
for a car.
It's the same idea. It was just so boring to me because you're not with anybody. It's a tiny plane. It's Florida. It's hot, and it's like you're in a little like greenhouse.
So there's no AC in this plane?
The AC is the window. I would stick the window open and keep my hand out the window like, hey, I'm hot. Like I need to scoop air.
Could you have headphones in or anything?
So I had like a headset, which I had a nice like headset.
Yeah.
Which had like Bluetooth into the headset because you had to talk to people the whole time. Like,
yeah.
While you're flying, you keep talking. But I had Bluetooth. But it was like so loud, you couldn't really get a lot out of the music, and you had to make sure you were listening in case you got talked to.
Yeah.
It just blew so bad, but I would have the autopilot on from literally as soon as my wheels hit the ground to my wheels hit the ground or I was on final for a runway.
Yeah.
And that's all I was doing for, 4 months?
How often were you flying?
Probably like 4 days a week. Like 4 days a week and probably like I wouldn't even say 2. Like 3 or 4 hours a day, 5 hours, 6 hours at most, like for long trips. Because it was fun because I guess the best example I have for the longest one was I went from Melbourne to St. Simon's Island, Georgia. I think it is. It's right.
Okay.
It's on the ocean, but it's all the way up in Georgia. I think it was like 3 hours one way, because the planes they're fast. Fast to drive, but not that fast. I went early in the morning. I think like 8, 9 a.m. Took me 3 hours. Landed at like noon. Got out, walked to like a really good like renowned barbecue place. Got barbecue. Went back. Got fuel, took back off, headed back. And
It's
then
kind of a cool life.
It's a cool life, and I tell everybody says like, dude, why the fuck would you give that up? I'm like, I don't know.
Well, you technically haven't. You have your license. Still.
Yeah,
like, you
I
could
still
do it if you want.
I still could.
Do me a favor, click just to humor me the top up button, or like just click it a few times.
All right,
I don't know.
I clicked it
Something's
3
up
times.
with one of these where it's like I just doesn't register. I'm also just
I clicked it 3
stupid.
times.
That's so interesting.
But yeah, that's like, and then I hated it so much that I said, hey, I'm gonna become a cop. I'm gonna turn away this hundreds of thousands of dollars a year salary and go do something everybody hates and make a fraction of the money.
Well, the beautiful thing is you can always go back.
I could if I wanted to. It's just,
And you wouldn't be starting from scratch.
I wouldn't be starting from scratch, but I kind of would be starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Because
Things change too.
even though it seems like a completely different world going from flying to being a police officer, it's still the government.
Yeah.
It's still the same government in all. Like, and there's so much fucking bullshit and hoops, and you got to jump through so much stuff. And if you haven't been flying for this amount of time and yada, 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 you got to do this much stuff to re-up, go to class. It's a headache. Like, I would love to, like, just do it too.
Just
like,
do
hey, let's go to Minneapolis, whatever. Let's go to North
I might
Carolina.
try and take you up on that one day and be like, hey, let's do this.
Hey, if you want to, I will go get current again, and I will.
Oh my god, that'd be so fun. I'll bring the cameras. We could do a little episode in the plane.
Hey, should we get like a fat chance like
Sticker to put on the
plane?
I'm now sponsoring a plane, ladies and gentlemen. I sponsor 2 athletes.
2 athletes and a plane.
And a plane.
Yeah,
and a pilot.
Do you have a private jet?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Not really.
It may not be a jet, but it may not be mine, but I can fly in it.
I can fly. I need my pilot to get current. He hasn't flown in a few years.
I have not flown in a couple years, so I would, yeah.
I also, if we were gonna fly, I would want you to be like, hey, maybe not the 3 up and downs. Maybe do like 1 or 2 flights and then come back.
And then come pick me up.
I think even you would want to do that before you went and did something like, let me go do something small.
I would definitely. I'm an idiot. I'm an adrenaline junkie when it comes to that shit. Like that's.
I am too.
Like
that's why I'm kind of just like, fuck it, fly me.
Well, like I was doing as much as I was working on the commercial, I was working on my instrument rating or add-on, I guess, which is totally separate.
What's that?
It's basically, in layman's terms, it is flying the airplane from point A to point B without looking out the window. And I'm sure that like you're like, what the fuck? but yeah, like
to be honest, without looking out the window, like how much? It's not like you have landmarks in the sky.
Exactly. Well,
like if you get to the big cloud that looks like a penis, take a right. Like no, like this shit changes. It's just like it's just white. That's my other question. Is like I honestly assume most of you fly just autopilot.
There's actually like traffic signals up in the sky. You know, hey, Chicago this way. Minneapolis this way.
There's a big green sign that's just like we've never really seen. We'll start looking out the windows more instead of napping on the plane. Oh, that's actually a good question. Does it feel the same at the front of the plane as it does as a passenger? So, like, in terms of speed, like, when I'm flying, I don't really feel like I'm moving. I'm just sitting there.
Yeah, you're just moving.
But when you're at the front of the plane, you're driving, do you kind of feel like you're moving? Because you're seeing out the front window?
No, you don't. I mean, unless you're close to the ground. If you're closer to the ground, you're because you have reference points.
Yeah, you have reference points.
But no.
You kind of just feel like you're there.
Until you start doing maneuvers.
Yeah.
Which is, like... For instrument, once again, without looking out the window, so I had these glasses. They're called Foggles, and they're basically just.
That doesn't sound real.
They're called Foggles, and they're basically just safety glasses that are blacked out except for like 2 little like slits in the inside, like tiny slits. They look like they're just blind goggles.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, you can only see like directly in front of you. And I would put those on. We'd go up. Even at night, we would do it just to like make it even harder. Like so, you can't see anything. My instructor would be in the passenger seat, and obviously, there's 2 sets of controls in the plane.
Yeah.
But we go out to like the middle of nowhere, like Florida, and like it's called a practice area where you can do dumb shit, and like nobody's gonna like get in your way. He'd be like, "All right, give me the controls. Head down, ear to your shoulder." So I'd be like this, like sitting there, not touching anything. And he'd be like, "My airplane. All right, when I say go, you're gonna look at your instruments, and correct the plane." And he would like just fuck with the plane. He would like go nose down for like a couple seconds, then pull it really hard back up, crank it around. So you have these things in your ear. They're called vestibular tubes. You learn all about like the human body too while you're flying. But you have this fluid in your ear. That's what like how people get motion sick and stuff.
Okay.
But that's what tells you you're like, hey, I'm turning right, I'm turning left, I'm going up, I'm going down. And
interesting.
If you turn long enough, so like you're here, you initiate a turn, the fluid in your ears are telling you, hey, I'm turning to the left at like this rate, whatever your body senses, like hey, fast, slow, whatever. If you like keep it constant long enough, the fluid settles, and now this rate of turn is level and straight.
Okay.
So when you go back to actual level and straight,
it's gonna feel weird.
Your brain thinks, oh shit, I'm turning right.
So you have to kind of correct you have to mentally like overcome that, or like
it's the biggest mind fuck ever. I promise you, I've never had a bigger mind fuck because he'll fuck with it, and then because like you're trying to think like, okay, he did this, he did that, like the plane's facing this way, down, we're getting faster, we're getting slower, and you're trying to keep up, but it's going for so long, and then honestly, like you're just like you lose track.
Yeah.
Like I think we're here, and then he goes, okay, fix it, your airplane, and you look up and your instruments are telling you completely
Do you have
different.
those goggles on?
Yeah.
So basically you can only see your instruments.
You can only see your instruments.
Okay.
So you have to trust the instruments. The one thing they tell you is don't trust your body. Your body will lie to you all the time. Like look at the instruments. They will never lie to you unless they're broken.
Yeah. And then you shouldn't be flying that plane anyways.
Exactly. Exactly. You're not wrong actually. But yeah, so you would like completely be feeling different and trying to like it's like, oh shit, like I'm turning right really hard. I want to crank it left, but actually you were turning left.
Okay.
Don't want to crank it more left if you're already turning left, but your body would think that's what you're supposed to do. It's the biggest mind fuck to like fight your body to like correct an airplane. It's
that's
crazy.
interesting.
It's crazy.
That's cool though. I didn't know like that's what you actually did.
Yeah,
like
it's a lot of stuff. It's not just hey.
It's nice to know our pilots are using drunk goggles up in the air right now. Yeah.
It's drunk goggles.
Can you imagine if you were like just I know you're in the middle of nowhere. You're probably over like nothing and shit like that. Yeah. But imagine there are like people underneath. You're doing this during the day, and all of a sudden you just see a plane casually just doing this. You'd be like, this thing's going down.
I have actually never thought about that, and I would love to know what that looks like from the ground. Because we're some stupid.
It also probably feels way more dramatic when you're up there than what we saw.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I saw a plane, like a small plane, gradually nosedive for a little few seconds, like this guy's suicidal.
Well, like one of the things you do in your private, like no more goggles, no more bullshit. Like, hey, I'm just flying the plane. Mm-hmm. One of the things you do, like when you have really low.
Yeah, don't wear the goggles when we go to Minneapolis next time.
I'll forget. I won't bring them. But one of the things you do to like learn how to be a pilot is correcting a stall. Like, and that's like your, I guess, biggest enemy in the flight. I mean, a stall means the plane stops flying. Yeah. That's what it is. The plane stops being a plane. It's a rock now.
It is now.
It's a fucking rock.
2 tons of aluminum.
But it's like the funnest. It's
fun. Really?
It's so much. I promise. I sound crazy saying this, but it's so much fun because you'll go and you'll induce. You're usually with your instructor, but I've done it by myself too because you have to practice it. But you'll induce a stall. You get really, really slow. You go up in the air really high. Yeah. But you get really, really slow. You start pulling back and pulling back and pulling back. And the plane just starts shaking, and then it'll like nose down because it stops flying. There's no more lift being produced by the wings. That's
and then you're kind of like trying to have to like paraglide this thing down.
Well, you're not, but there's a thing to like correct it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I just stalled. push down, like nose down, power in, and then slowly pull it back up, and then you fix it. But like you're falling out of the sky there for a couple seconds. It's kind of nuts, but it's fun because like when the lift stops being produced over the wings, it's like it just shakes. Like it's crazy. Like the whole plane just shakes.
I feel like naturally you kind of have to freak out, even though you know you're doing it.
Oh, like, the first time the first time it had like we did it, it was like, what? Like
why are we practicing
Why are we
this?
doing this? Like this does not seem
safe.
Safe at all? No shot. But it's like. It's crazy because, like, you know, I mean, I guess you're young, invincible, you feel like nothing goes wrong. But the plane just, like, stops. Like, there's nothing you can do. Like, it's kind of like, you know, black ice on a car or something.
Yeah.
Hydroplaning. Like, you're going from flying, and all of a sudden the whole plane just, boom, just, like, straight down.
Have you ever had, like, a real serious issue while you were flying?
No. I've done some dumb things that flying too close to clouds that I shouldn't be flying into the wrong airspace, but nothing like mechanical. No mechanical issues with the plane. They're usually pretty well kept, especially at the schools. Like
I would hope so at the schools. Dude, that's so interesting. I didn't know you actually had.
Yeah.
I had an idea that you actually. No, I didn't even know you did pilot stuff at all. Yeah. But to have your license too, that's so fucking cool. Yeah. I mean, that's something I think everyone would be like, it'd be cool if I could do this, and you actually can, which is awesome.
That's what like everybody says. It's like, hey, like that's awesome. Like, why would you give that up? I'm like,
well, it's not so much why would you give it up. I totally understand why people give certain things up. It's like maybe people say it's like wrong or right person, wrong time kind of thing. Like that applies to like occupations, I think too. It's like I really like doing this, but like I just can't right now. It's something you can always revisit, and I think people too are like me with engineering. Yeah. I always viewed engineering as like the glamorous part of it, like I get to build things. Yeah. I get like just build things. I think you were like I get to fly
I get to fly places. Yep.
But then you get into the nitty-gritty of it, and you're like for it to become a profession. Yeah. The profession is the nitty-gritty of it. You barely get to do, like, the fun stuff kind of thing. And you're like, you know what? I'd rather this just be a hobby because I then just get to do the fun stuff. Exactly. Rather than making this a business kind of thing.
That's literally all it needed to be.
You want, like, a lot of people, like... It's one, like, thing that takes, like, for me with cooking. Yeah. I love cooking, but I don't know if I could ever make it a full-time job because I think it would take the fun out of it for me.
You couldn't have explained it better. Like, that's literally what happened. Like, I'm like, I mean, as a kid, like, I mean, yeah, my dad was a pilot, but, like, planes were just, like, cool. Like, they were fast. They still are. Like, if I see a plane, I'm like, oh, like, what is that? No,
but like, once you associate something with work you're like, oh, this isn't fun anymore.
Exactly.
You need to find, like, it's a tough balance. Like, something is going to have to be work eventually in your life. Hopefully it's something that is also super fun and you don't, like, I don't know, like, what I'm going with that one, but, like, it really is, like, with cooking with me. Like, I would like to do a cooking show, but because it's going to be entertaining. But, like, to be, if I was, like, 9 to 5, like, hey, stressful. Yeah. Like, everything needs to go out like this. Yeah. That wouldn't be as fun for me as, like, you know what? I would love to learn to be as good of a chef as that person that's, like, running a kitchen. However, I'd rather like to do it on my own time and cook for my friends and family than being like, this person didn't like the way this was.
Let's take the stress out of
like take the stress out. Make it fun. Make it fun. Let it be creative. And I think even I could go on a limb and saying I think a lot of chefs would be like they enjoy the process, but I think some of their favorite when they're done cooking, people are like, hey, can I cook for you? They're like, please do, because I don't want to do this right now. Like it's no longer fun. I mean, it's still fun, but like they like when they get to experiment with new like things on a menu or shit like that.
Yeah, it I don't know. There's a lot of my friends that were there. I have a good buddy he's from New Jersey. Like probably the only friend I made down there. One of the only friends I made down there. He's a super good friend of mine. But he did the same thing. He called me crazy for leaving. He's like, dude, like why are you giving up this early? Like why? There's so much money here. There's this, there's that. I'm like, dude, it blows. The city blows. I cannot see myself sitting in a plane seat pushing buttons
for the rest of your life.
For the rest of my life. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's the sad truth of it. I mean, anybody who flies on a plane, your pilots aren't flying the plane. They're just pushing buttons. That's all they're doing.
And you would like to still fly planes, but you just don't want it to be a profession.
I want it to be
You
fun.
want it to be. I think you need to find hobbies you really like, and then something that'll make you money. And I think everyone's dream is a hobby will make you enough money, and it still remains fun, but that's super hard to do.
Yeah, that's how I got into motorcycles. Actually, was because I was so depressed out of my mind in Florida from flying. I'm like, if this wasn't dangerous enough,
I gotta touch the ground.
I need to touch the ground, and let me do something that's probably gonna get me killed more than flying a plane.
Yeah,
let's do it. Like, screw it. I as much as my parents told me no, I said,
I wasn't allowed to get a bike.
I was not allowed to.
When I was under my parents' roof, they're like, I don't care if you're 18. My mom was like, you're not getting a fucking bike.
That's what I was told. But I pulled like my dad rode bikes for the police department for 20 odd years. Like, you can't tell me no and then you do it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I've ridden dirt bikes, ATV, all that shit. I mean, ATV's 4 wheels, a lot different, and we're doing it in the woods. But I was like, you've seen us whip around our field in the backyard at decently high speeds on dirt bikes. We've gone tracks. I've crashed plenty of times on the dirt bike. It's like, you know what? I hit a car. I'm just kidding.
I hit a car. What? It's fine.
I bounce off. I'm wearing a. That's the other thing too is I hate helmets, but I would definitely wear one. I would be a little. That's the thing is
like my helmet. My helmet's sick.
I'm a junkie kinda when it comes to adrenaline. Like I'll push it until there's a point where I have a little freak out moment, and I'm like, all right, dial it the fuck back.
Oh, I've had that before.
Yeah, but also I'm the same way, or the same. Same is the wrong word, but I'll start tentatively.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm comfortable. And then all of a sudden, it's like a switch flips, and you're like, let's see how close to death I can get.
You are way too much like me because I did the same fucking thing. Say, hey, I'm just going to – I told this is how I eased into it. I said, hey, I'm not having fun, flying anymore. I need to take, a break. Yeah, I mean, everybody needs a break sometimes. Mm-hmm. They were fine with that. They said, hey, take your time. Take a break. So I told my, flight instructor, said, I'll let you know when I want to go again, but – I'm going to take a couple weeks off. At the least, take a couple weeks off. Signed up for, the motorcycle safety class in Florida at, a Harley-Davidson dealership. And told my parents, I said, hey, I'm just going to take it, get my license so I have it. I'm not planning on getting anything or whatever.
I still don't have mine. I want to get mine, though.
You should do it. I got a helmet. I got a jacket. I told them, hey, I need it for the course. No other reason. I need it for the course. And I truly did, think I was just going to take the course. Took it. I'm fuck. This. I see why people do this. This is.
It's dude riding bikes, ATV, shit like that is so fucking fun.
There's no better feeling. We were only going 25 miles an hour, not even 20 miles an hour in a parking lot. I'm fuck. I need to. I want to go. I need to do this. I got my license and then I came back.
What's the fastest you've gone now?
The fastest I have gone on a motorcycle. So after I came back from Florida, I had a Kawasaki Ninja 400.
Okay.
It's a 400cc bike. It wasn't that fast. It was only a 2-cylinder. But I got it north of 3 digits. Wasn't enough for me. I'm damn, I need a bigger bike.
Do you feel do you shake a little at that or no?
The bike or me?
Yeah. Or both?
Me? No. Because it doesn't feel that fast. Yeah. Especially on it never felt that fast to me. I'm I look down, I'm oh, fuck. I'm going 100, whatever. But the bike, I was I need to go faster than that.
120 kind of thing.
It's not. It didn't scare me enough. I was comfortable.
That's alarming.
I was comfortable doing it, so I upgraded.
You're gonna scare a lovely lady one day to death.
Yeah.
If it's not your mother already.
Yeah, it's probably. She'll never listen to this, so it's fine.
She might.
She might not. She might not.
She might.
She might.
I think Jake's parents listened to it because they ordered the T-shirts for him.
Oh God! Actually, my dad would probably kick my ass before my mom did if he hears how fast I went. But then I upgraded to a Ninja ZX6R, which is a 636cc bike that weighs 375 pounds and makes 140 horsepower.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And I weigh 150 pounds soaking wet. So there's not a lot. There's not a lot of weight there to, move.
Yeah.
And I got it, and the bike was super aggressive compared to my old one. It was I'm leaned over, and you could tell it had some fucking balls. It was. I knew it was different. I'm damn. I got into Oshkosh, last April actually, And I rode it back, and I didn't really fuck around with it because I was scared of the bike. Like,
Yeah.
Mad scared. I could tell it was fast. And then as the summer went around, I got comfortable with it. I was like throwing it in and out. Like I've learned how to get my knee down, like in corners. And I got really comfortable with it. And then I was with Jake, actually. We rode.
Yeah, you got Jake into bikes, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Jake, I like Jake's bike.
His bike's sick.
I had a little bit because he was selling it, and he accidentally sold me or sent me pictures of it. He was supposed to send his girlfriend at the time or whatever. I was like, thanks, man. Thanks for the picture. He goes, sorry, wrong person. I'm like, I really like this bike though.
Buy it. He's still trying to get rid of it. Jake, if you hear this, I know you want a faster bike because he's pissed because he can't touch 100. We did this. It's.
I at least want to. I'm gonna go. I think that'll be a summer project for me. I'll get my license, and I at least want to try it out.
Granted, the fucker is 6'5", 230 pounds.
He's massive.
He's massive. So
he used to be shorter than me at one point in his life.
I feel bad for the motorcycle. I feel bad.
He's a D1 athlete.
he needs. Mate, can we get a Fat Chance motorcycle sponsorship?
You know what? When we're done here, I'll show you what I have to make stickers, and we'll just.
I'll put it on my bike.
We'll make stickers for the bike and the plane.
Deal. But yeah, so we were out. We literally rode 9 a.m. We met up at his house, and we're like, let's just go west. Let's just go. Let's see how far we get. I think we wanted to get to New Glarus to go to see the brewery.
Dude, this is literally you guys came back and he did the podcast, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was that day?
Yeah, I think he came back and did the podcast.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Because he took pictures of his bike at the terrace, I think, or something like that. Or
Yeah.
That's the day.
We literally left his house and went south on Loomis, got off Waterford area, so south, East Troy. We just headed west in farmlands. And there's nobody out. It was super early in the morning at that time. And we were fucking around. And it's funny because I'll lead and then I'll stop going fast and then Jake's like, oh fuck, I'm gonna blow by him. And I'm in 6th gear as he blows by me, and then I just twist the throttle and then I'm gone. But we got to a stretch of road that was flat. There was no intersecting roads. It was I don't even know what town it was. I don't even think it was incorporated. There was no people. It was, you couldn't see anything. It was it came in. It was a left, right, 90-degree turn, and then completely straight for probably about a mile or two, and then a 90-degree right turn.
And you did it in 2.3 seconds.
And then Jake and I have headsets in our helmets.
Oh,
so
right.
We can talk to each other.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, it's dope. It's dope. So I can listen to music in my helmet too, and I'm not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking. I said, dude, this road looks nice. I'm gonna fucking send it. And he goes, all right, have fun. So I can take corners decently fast. So I took it and I stood the bike up, dropped it into first at 20, and I just got on it. Wheel came up power wheelie. I didn't even try and pop the clutch. It just came up, boom, banging gears. I'm banging gears.
Dude, I'm getting so jealous right now.
I was banging gears. The wind's going. I didn't even say a word. I was blacked out, just leaned in the tuck. And I looked down at my speedometer once I got to 6th gear, and I was doing 153 miles an hour.
Holy shit!
I was doing 153 miles an hour.
That's a speed where if you passed a cop, they're just
oh, I mean,
it wouldn't even be this slow. It'd be like this.
But
he's gone.
I remember it because I'm fuck, in a split second's time. I looked down, saw how fast I was going, fuck, and then I stood up to catch the air to slow me down instead of being hunched over. Your body actually helps you slow down a lot on a motorcycle. I stood up and I downshifted to slow down for the turn up ahead.
Jake's what, 2 miles behind you?
I remember freaking out. I was so hyped. I was screaming. I was that was the coolest fucking thing I ever did. The adrenaline's pumping, and I remember the headset disconnecting. It said too far away to pair. And I looked back. I stopped in the middle of the road. I just looked back, and Jake's all the way back, still at the turn. And I just started dying laughing. I'm there's no way that just happened.
That's unreal.
It was crazy. It was probably the best.
Now
trip
I'm
ever.
gonna have to go get my license.
You have to. I'm known to be a bad influence to my friends when it comes to shit. Hey, I'm gonna convince you to get this.
You don't have to. I've already convinced myself. My buddy Sam, my buddy Sam Walsh, his dad calls me the common denominator because whenever apparently I'm with him or our friends, they get into trouble. He goes, "You're always there." I go, "It's not my fault." But he's like, "You're the common denominator, man."
The common denominator.
So I don't know. It's one of my favorite nicknames I've ever gotten. Dude, that's so fucking fun.
I'm gonna go grab another one.
But dude, go for it. Yeah. So they're in the fridge. Do you want it on ice or no? Dude, I was thinking 153 miles an hour. So if you went from Franklin or Milwaukee to Madison at that rate, instead of it being an hour and 15-minute drive, that you would get there in 20 minutes. Yeah. You get there in 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
That's like if you drove normally from Franklin to my place.
It's like
with maybe a little traffic.
It wasn't scary either. Like it wasn't, and I've been around that number again. Yeah. I've been near it. I haven't passed it. Like that's the fastest I've gone, but I've been very near it at multiple.
At that point, I think at 153, you wouldn't feel a difference between 153 and 165. I don't
sure
think.
Hope not.
No, but I think like it would be like 175 would feel different. That's like with cold, like at certain speeds. No, like hear me out. Like with certain speeds, I feel like you know the difference between 60 and 80.
Yeah.
Like anything between like 0 and 100, you can tell a difference. Once you're getting past like 100, 120, you're like, I'm fucking moving. 120 to 140 probably feels the same. 150, you're like, I think the car's gonna explode. Like 150 to 175, I'm sure probably feels pretty similar. 200, you're like, oh my god, I'm going to like just burst into a million pieces. That's like with cold. Like people are like, oh, how cold is it? It's like, oh, it's 0 versus -10. -10 feels the same as -15 as it does -20.
Yeah.
-20 feels the same as -30. -30 feels
it's just fucking cold.
It's just cold. It's just how long can you sustain that temperature or that speed is the difference. Like, oh, it's negative. Like when we had that polar vortex, remember that?
I was in Iowa. Yeah, I do.
So first time Madison has ever canceled like classes in forever.
It was
and like it was like 6-7 years that like they actually canceled a class, and people still went. Like people were like, girls were in like tank tops, like waiting outside the bar. Like when I was working, I'm like, you guys are fucking like, you could actually die sitting out here. It's that cold. But like, it felt the same as if it was like -20 or like -15. It was just like mentally, you know, like I can't be out here because it's -60 degrees outside, which is hard to wrap your head around that something's less than a no temperature.
It's -60.
-60. You're just like, all right, it feels the same as -30, but instead of being out here for 20 minutes, I can only be out here for 10 until I actually get frostbite.
That was, I had to change my car's battery outside.
Thank God I didn't have a car at that time.
In that polar vortex, and I think it was like -50 or 60 in Iowa.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. I hated my life. I remember because it was so cold, I couldn't get like the bolts off, or like, you know, I couldn't do like the small things with my hands.
You're moving like super slow. Like you get in, you try and text, and your thumb is moving like this.
It was like that. I remember having to go inside like every 5 to 6 minutes. Like I had to run inside, warm up, go back out, do like a little bit more.
Yeah.
It was so.
Dude, it was crazy because we canceled school, and I knew like people were like, "Oh, we don't have class tomorrow. Everyone's going out tonight," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there was like, it was a Wednesday, and I remember working it, and I was like, "We're gonna have a line tonight," which is stupid. Like, we are gonna make people wait outside this bar in -60 degrees, but we're gonna be fucking packed, and they still waited. I was like, "Are you guys dumb?"
People are crazy. People
and the best part was like everyone complained like, I don't think I can walk to class in this temperature. Like, that was the big complaint that everyone was like, some people have like 20, 25-minute walks to a class depending on where they live. And it's like the government advised, like, don't be outside for longer than 10 minutes. Yeah. And so like, all right, if we exceed that by like 200%, you shouldn't be going to class. And so that made sense. But like, oh yeah, but we're fine waiting 25 minutes in line to go to the W to get fucking $4 drinks. It's like,
and the girl's like, I'm not carrying a jacket. You're like,
I'm not carrying a jacket. I don't want to hold it inside.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, so they're my God. Like, I was fully prepared to like have to shovel some people off the sidewalk because they were just frozen.
I can't believe like that happened. What, last weekend we were out? It wasn't even like remotely near that cold.
No.
But it was cold. It was maybe like 15 degrees like down here.
Yeah.
and we were out at wherever, Trinity, I don't remember, but we're trying to like go home, but the Ubers were taking forever.
Yeah.
And we're like, can we please just wait inside? Nobody let anybody wait inside at the bar. I'm like, come on.
Ooh, we had that when I went to when we went to Whiskey Myers, the concert, the other weekend, and it was freezing, and I was like, can we just like honestly like can we wait inside? Like everyone needs to be out of the venue. Like people were waiting inside and like they kicked everyone out. I'm like, dude, it's fucking freezing out. The wind is howling. Who cares?
Well, we were with Eliza Devereaux, and
no clue who that is.
She's a grade younger than us, but she's Ava's friend. After a turn of events, she lost her jacket, so she's in like spaghetti straps.
Yeah,
outside, and I felt.
Oh, it's either parka or nothing for the girls.
I felt so, but she had a jacket and it got lost. We'll say that. But I felt so bad because like she was like just like in tears almost because it was so cold and nobody let her in. Like nobody gave a shit.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
It was.
We're at an hour. You surprised?
That was an hour?
That was an hour.
There's no way.
How easy is that? We're gonna keep talking. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, also you're gonna come back on and do this whenever you want because you're about to be basically my neighbor.
Yeah.
I want to talk about one last thing, and we'll wrap it up with like a question that I haven't even thought of.
Yeah,
yet.
go. Whatever you want to talk about now. I feel like I've been rambling about bullshit for way too long.
Well, that's why you're the guest. Like I want to hear you. You're on because I want to hear you talk.
I have so many more. Like I could. Like,
I know.
I could just keep going.
I know you could. That's good. So we both coached lacrosse last year.
Yes.
Which is how
you're not doing
which is how we like kind of like reconnected and stuff like that amongst other things now. And so last year I coached 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then would occasionally come to your varsity and JV practices and come to the games to help coach. I was spread thin with coaching. Oh my God. I remember coaching Deal. Deal's still the coach?
Yeah, Deal's still the coach.
Coach, and the head coach is the other one. So, like, you are going to be well compensated. Stuff like that. Thinking.
I already know where that's going. Yeah, dude. My ass. Yes. I hope Deal listens to this.
So, well, here's the thing. Are you getting paid?
I am getting paid.
Okay. I am not. I didn't. So. And Deal was like. Looking, but like, here's the thing. I have no problem with it. I loved coaching these kids for the most part. 7th and 8th. Yeah. Like, those of you who are in high school now and he's your coach, fucking buckle up because he's actually, not buckle up. He's way nicer than I was. You guys were annoying as shit. And
well, I mean, hey, if you're worse than I am now, I feel bad for them.
I promise you, I was way worse. I promise you, I was way worse. I used to make them. We had a thing. I was like, just go get me sticks from the woods.
Oh, like your father did to me as a kid.
I was like, just go get. Yeah, I am my dad's
Your
son.
father abused me.
Just go get sticks.
Abused, but like, I've never ran more than when your father coached me, whether it was football or lacrosse.
Oh yeah, I was big. I was like, hey, well, they were well conditioned, that's for sure. But I was like, if you don't listen to me or try, you're going to get punished, kind of thing. But so I got like, you're going to get compensated. I thought I was going to make maybe like between. Basically 4 teams I was helping out with. Yeah. One I was head coaching, 7th and 8th basically. Yeah. I was the assistant, but I was head coaching it. Was probably, I would call myself the number 2 coach for 5th and 6th behind Jeff. And then occasionally help with you guys sometimes. Yeah. I was like, I'll make like maybe $500. 4 teams, I think that's reasonable. Yeah. Dude, the only thing I was compensated was donations that they turned into gift cards. I made $140 in gift cards to places I have never heard of in my entire life. 3 of them are still sitting on my bathroom counter right now. End of the year banquet or whatever. They're like, oh my God, here's like this is the most money we've ever gotten. Thank you so much. I was like, what the fuck?
I mean, I get paid, and I'm not gonna. I don't get paid a lot, but for what I do. And I love it too. Like, I thoroughly enjoy.
Oh, I so enjoyed getting back into it and being the person that like, I was on the first ever team. Yeah. And then being like, people are like, do you know Frank? I'm like, bitch, I started this.
What? Dude, I feel so fucking old, and I'm much younger than you are.
All right, let's chill on the much.
Okay, well, I mean, out of high school.
Yeah.
You've been out of high school for what? 7, 8 years?
8 years.
8 years.
Fuck, 8 years. Yeah.
I've been out of high school for 4, and like these kids, like I'm not trying to like, I'm not carrying a reputation, but they like, hey, I played football and I played lacrosse, but these kids are like, there's no way you were any good at either. I'm like, God damn, like y'all are a bunch of there's a bunch of assholes who like think I was like a bum in high school and I just show up to this.
That's when I would bring my stuff and be like, all right, let's do this.
That's what we do.
And I was like, coach has still got it, asshole. Also, you guys are 5th and 6th graders. Shut the fuck up.
That's what I feel. I'm like, I realize I'm a young coach.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm 4 years older than most of you guys. 5 years older than some of you.
Smarter
like,
too,
like,
which is that's like, a huge.
There's no respect. They have no respect for any sort of authority. It's bad.
None whatsoever.
None.
5th and 6th definitely did, because they're young enough. 7th and 8th when they get into that. 7th and 8th in JV, like freshman, sophomore, none whatsoever.
None.
Junior, senior, like I want to fucking win. I'm gonna listen to someone that I know has some experience.
Yeah.
Fine, but like that 7th through sophomore, fucking worst people to coach ever. And we were those people, but they're the fucking worst.
Oh, we were definitely those people. I say that to D all the time. I'm like, damn, like. No, like I'm sorry, like I get it, like I get you had to deal with me.
Yeah.
He's like, now you see, like
it's obnoxious. It's obnoxious,
you know.
And they're all cocky. They think they're great, and then like you can't do this, and it's like they also don't appreciate just like general like sports IQ or intelligence. It's like, hey, like you can be naturally gifted, but if you are fucking stupid, come to this sport, which all of them are for the most part. Besides maybe 4 people on that team, you're not going anywhere. You have to be a student of the game rather than just an athlete of the game.
I would rather have somebody who like knows the game of lacrosse than this year's team. There's a ton of athletes. Probably one of the higher like, hey, across the board we have like fucking crazy athletic kids.
But understanding the sport is.
But there's maybe 4 or 5 that actually know the game of lacrosse.
Yeah.
Like our whole defense, like. Crazy good. They're all part of the state team this year that won. Like D1 offensive lineman, kid's gonna go D1. Another kid's gonna go be a D1 linebacker.
Yeah,
crazy athletes, but none of them played lacrosse. Like I remember yesterday we got a penalty for on the face because nobody got released, but the ground ball on the face came right towards our defense and ran out. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
like,
no, it's. I mean, it's tough too when you play multiple sports. Remember all the rules and shit like that. But yeah, I agree with you. It's so tough, just like because you know all of them, and then when I would come back to your games when I graduated high school and I'd come watch like you, Andrew, and Steven, and I'd be on the sidelines because my dad was still a coach at the time, Mr. Fernandez and whatnot, and like Deal was like just starting all that, and I would get irrationally angry just as like the like old player that was like bad. I was like I would never be able to just be in the stands. I either have to coach and it's socially acceptable for me to start screaming at people, or I can just never come to these games.
It's ridiculous. Like I never thought I'd do it, but like I haven't watched the film from last night. But I know for a fact
you're gonna hate it.
I was just screaming my head off for 48 minutes straight. Well, and not even 40 minutes straight because we still have to coach. We still have one coaching staff for 2 teams. So I know you said you were spread thin. And I feel like I'm spread thin over 2 teams. Like trying to make sure
I would have coached this year. So I told them I was supposed to move. I wanted to move to Denver after in the summer last year.
Yeah.
Didn't work out with a few reasons. And like now stand up and all that stuff. If I didn't. Like, if stand-up was, like, later at night, I would be able to coach. But I was like, because I would love to help you out. I really would. Yeah. Just can't. Like, I totally get how you're spread thin, though.
It's not that I shouldn't say. Well, I don't know. In plain terms, I don't have the patience for JV. I don't. I really don't. Some of them are
Try 7th and 8th, dude.
I don't have the patience for it. Like, I know I am not, like, the best. Like, Jake is 10 times more qualified than I am to, like, coach the defense, which is what I'm doing right now for both teams. We have other coaches there, but...
Well, you'll get him at the end of the year again.
Yeah, but pretty much it's me, like, being the vocal one and telling them, hey, do this, do that. This is what we got to correct. But, man, like, doing it over 2 teams just sucks because half the JV team just doesn't want to be there and they fuck around for the whole 2 hours of practice. And then if I'm there, I know I have to worry about, like, the varsity team not getting better that day. Or, you know, I hate doing both teams. I really do. But, you know, we got to do it.
I do it, and you know what? It's like semi. I have a joke about him. I'll tell you afterwards, but like it's a true story. I did it last night. It went so well. I make fun of these kids so much because it's like it's supposed to be rewarding. It's kind of rewarding, but like they're fucking ridiculous.
It's
Let's end it with like I'm supposed to. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna do these fucking questions
well,
anymore.
do a question.
Well, no, this thing is like I would break it into seasons, and every episode since the last season, I've ended with like, I have this question. I used to do questions, but I would break it into seasons.
Are they like? Are they just general
They're serious.
dumb questions?
So they were
or?
like, so I asked Jake when he was on. I was like, hey, what's something you have to do before your next birthday?
Okay.
And
I
so,
think I remember that one.
basically, it's like I want, and that was stand up for me before I turned 25. It was like, it's something I could just do tomorrow or like Monday or whatever, if I wanted to. But it's like something that like you're putting off because you're afraid or whatever. It's like it's something you have to do before your next birthday. Like when is your birthday?
June 17th.
June.
Is my
So like,
birthday,
and if it was so close, be like, all right, you got a year to do it,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But like, I'll let you answer both of these. So it's
okay.
something you want or have to do before your next birthday, and I'll hold you accountable.
Okay.
Jake satisfied his. One of the few people that actually did his. Jake said he wants an actual like job at graduating college, and Jake's got it. And then the other one, the last season was what's something you live by.
Something I live by.
So like this whole thing is like we're supposed to have fun and be funny or just like entertaining or whatever, or like getting to know you for like 59 minutes.
Yeah.
And the last is like what's something you have to do. Tell me like something you're like you want to do, you haven't done it just because you're afraid or whatever. And then what do you live by? Like why do you get up? Like a life philosophy. Why do you act the way you act? Stuff like that. It could be dumb. It could be douchey. I don't care.
Okay. Something I have to do. Something I wanted to do, actually. I mean, we talked about it earlier, but, like, just get into shape. Like, I'm going to be a cop. But, like, I can't. Like,
all right, so you're coming to my gym now.
Yeah.
On Monday.
I mean, like.
Deal?
On
Monday.
Like, I mean, I get it.
I'll give you a workout plan too. I have one written up
I'm small. It's what it is. I'm small and I'm gonna be a cop, and I'm like actually very intimidated by like the real world.
Yeah.
Like I need to be like, hey, I gotta run. I gotta be somewhat strong.
I'll show you my workout plan when we're done with this, and you'll do it.
That is like something I really want to do, and I'm getting there. Like,
yeah.
I've made a lot of progress in the last 2 months, like in the gym. But like cardio, none.
So you want to go like the Joey Baumgart route? You want to put on like 15 pounds maybe by your birthday?
I already did put on 15 pounds.
Don't put another. If you put another 15 pounds on in 2 months, that's a lot.
So you're gonna like be like, wow, what the fuck? So I got my tonsils removed in February because I was like sick for 4 months straight.
Yeah, mine removed in kindergarten.
Yeah, I should have. But I was sick for like 4 months straight, and before then I was like chilling around 140, 145 pounds. And I knew that was light, but I was so lazy that I'm like, I'm not going to the gym, whatever. And then I got surgery, and I dropped to like 130.
Damn.
I'm like, man, I have not weighed this much since I was like a freshman in high school.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, this is crazy. So I told myself there, I'm like, I'm going to the gym as soon as I'm better, putting on weight. I want to sit at 170, 175. Muscle, like pure muscle.
That's a lot.
I know. It's a lot. And currently, I'm sitting at 157 from 130 in February.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
But it's also like
weight
you
gain.
lost it because of surgery. It's easy to put that back on. Like it's like when wrestlers cut weight and then over the weekend they put on 20 pounds.
I'm impressed with the 10, 11 pounds from my normal 145-ish.
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from or how, or I just maybe have not been paying attention, but it came somewhere. I don't know. Yeah. I double checked like the last like 3 days. I weighed myself because I weighed myself the first day. I'm like 157. I'm like, what?
Damn.
Like,
yeah.
Maybe I just
you weigh as much as me now.
Maybe I ate a lot, drank a lot, and then I weighed myself the next day 157. Next day 156. I'm like, oh, like I'm sitting here now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, that's what I want to do. Cardio is my next step.
Okay. All right.
Not losing weight.
We'll keep it. I'll text you tomorrow. I'll make sure
right.
you come to the gym.
I'll come to the gym. You hold me to it, please.
I
I'm
will.
very lazy. What was the other part?
Something you live by.
Something I live by.
Could be like a quote. Could be like even something you don't have to live by now, but would like to. Like, have you ever heard someone say something you're like, shit?
I don't know. I have a saying, but I do know, like, I don't know what I'm chasing. Like,
there you go. That works.
I mean, it's my parents. It really, I mean, honestly, that's why I changed everything.
Yeah.
Since I was, I mean, you see your parents being police officers since you were born, before you were born, every day. Like,
both your parents are police officers?
yeah. Both my parents work for the city of Milwaukee. But, I mean, you see them every day go to work.
If you ever pull me over, your son's been on the podcast, all right? I would like a warning.
They're retired now. You're good. They're good. I'm next.
I need 2 more people on my side.
They're retired. But, like, I mean, growing up, like, that's all I want to do. You see your dad. You see your mom. That's what my life was. I mean, you watch him go to work. I mean, I didn't see my dad much when I was growing up because he was working day shift while my mom was home during day shift and my mom was gone at night. I mean, I never had, like, except for, like, the vacations as a kid. They were never there. But you knew what they were doing and you were proud of it as a kid. That's all I ever wanted to do. But as I was growing up, they said, you're never going to do this. Like, it's not worth it. It's dangerous. Don't do it. Yada, yada, yada. I said, okay, whatever. Like,
and now you're doing it.
And that's what happened. Like, I said, like, fuck it. Like, this is what I wanted to do. And they don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do. But I've never told them. But, like, that's what I look up to. Like, I want to be like.
Oh, I was going to say they don't know you're trying to be a cop.
Well, no, they know I'm trying to be a cop. They're not happy about it. They're not happy about that part. But, like, I've never told my parents, like, hey, like, you guys are the 2 I'm chasing. Like, this is who I aspire to be. Like,
that's good. I think at the end of the day, they will love that.
I can only hope.
You hope so, yeah.
I hope so. I got to get a tattoo yet. I promised them. I promised myself that I promised them I'd get a tattoo.
All right. Well, then that's the other one. You got to get a tattoo.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Hold me to that.
Thank you for doing this, buddy.
Not a problem.